Okay, so we're going to talk about box and whisker plots. Okay, I love box and whisker plots. They're very useful in displaying data. This is also something that you're going to use in your projects that I will introduce to you tomorrow or the next day. Okay, so a box and whisker plot is a way to display data on a number line organized by sections. So it's a way for us to kind of chunk the data into parts. Okay. And we call it a box and whisker plot because we have a box with two whiskers. Okay. Now, Amy saw something in this room that caught her eye.
Just words.
Okay.
There's a candidate.
No, that's to deal with this lesson.
Has that been there all year?
It has been there
Oh,
all year. Do you guys see what's on top of my cabinet?
Yeah.
Whoa, it's a box and whisker plot. Okay, so we create a box and whisker plot by creating a 5-number summary. Okay, so we have the minimum value. What do you think that is?
The value that is the lowest.
Okay, our lowest number. I'm gonna say smallest. I feel like that's a better word. So our smallest value. Okay, on the flip side, what do you think this is?
The biggest.
The maximum value is our largest value. Okay. Now, all right, so like up here, the minimum and the maximum are our very ends of the whisker. Okay. Now, there's one of those three that are left, you already know what it is. The median is the middle of our data. Okay. And that is the data point that we put inside the box of the box and whisker plot. Okay. Then we have what's called the lower quartile and the upper quartile. Okay. So the lower quartile is what we're going to consider the median of the lower half of the data. And the upper quartile is the median of the upper half of our data. Okay, so if I zoom in here, so this value right here is our minimum. This value right here is our maximum. Okay, this guy is our median. And then here's our upper quartile. And here is our lower quartile. So we call this the 5-number summary. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers that split our data into sections. Okay. How many sections of data do we have up there? How many sections of data?
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's interesting because we have what's called the lower quartile and the upper quartile.
Because quarter quartile. I get it.
Okay, now Avery, think about that. The lower quartile is the median of the lower half. Okay, and interpret to me what that means. Median of the lower half. What does median mean?
Like average in the middle.
Okay, just the middle.
Yeah.
Okay,
middle.
so median of the lower half means we're taking the lower half of the data and finding the middle. Okay, so if I'm finding the middle of the lower half, and I'm finding the middle, median, and I'm finding the middle of the upper half, what's true about those four sections? We're gonna come back to that. Okay. I'm gonna come back to what quartiles are and interquartile range. So let's go to this first one right here. Okay, let's go ahead and organize this data into ascending order. So what's the lowest number? Okay, so we have 50. Then what? 58. 60. 62. 64. 70, 68. There's a 68. Then we can put 70. Then 72. 76. 84 and 92. Okay. What's our minimum? 50. And our maximum is?
92.
Okay, that part was not too bad. Okay, so now how many data points do we add? Doesn't matter. Let's find the middle. So what I really like to do, I like to take my two fingers and outside, next, 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 next. It's 64, 68, right? So my median is here. So if I average these two together, you said it's 66? Okay. Okay, so now what we're gonna do to find our lower quartile is we're gonna find the median of this lower half. So if I go boom, 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 our middle is 59. And then up here, if we go boom, 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 our middle of the upper half is up here at, okay. Okay. So what we're gonna do, let's see. Should we do like 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and label those. Now, because I'm going from 50 to 92, I just need to be able to fit all of those numbers on the number line that I have. So I chose to count by 5, starting at 45, because I'd be able to spread out my data. Okay, that might be your hardest decision, figuring out what to label those numbers. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna plot my minimum of 50. So here's 50. I'm gonna put a dot above 50. Lower quartile is 59. I'm gonna put a dot above 59. I'm gonna put a dot above 66. I'm gonna put a dot above 74. I'm gonna put a dot above 92. Okay. Now my lower quartile, upper quartile median, I'm gonna create a rectangle with a line going through the median. Okay. Then I'll connect the box to the whiskers. Box and whisker plots.
Wow. That's cool.
Okay, so there's a lot of things I want to talk about with this particular problem. Because we're finding the median, the middle, and then we're cutting the lower half in half, and we're cutting the upper half in half. What is this 5-number summary doing? Okay, how many numbers are between 50 and 59?
A lot.
There's 3, right? What about between 59 and 66? What do you say? It is splitting it into quarters. We're taking our data and we're finding the middle. And then we're finding the middle of those 2 pieces. So we're splitting our data into, say it again, quarters. So 25% of the data is here, and 25% of the data is here, and 25% of the data is here, and 25% of the data is here. Okay, so let's come up here and let's talk about our quartiles. Okay, we have 4 sections of data. Where each section has 25% of the data. Data, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So if every section is 25%, how much of the data is in the entire box? 50, because that has 2 sections. Okay. Now the inner quartile range, that's going to be the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. Weird, right? All right, so let's come down here. Okay. So in number 1, so this is all resting heart rates in beats per minute of a group of people. Okay. This person, these people up here, 92 and 84, those are pretty high for a resting heart rate. Okay. The range, okay, that's pretty easy to figure out. We look at our 5-number summary, and we're going to take the maximum minus the minimum. Our range is 42. Okay. Now, the inner quartile range. In our 5-number summary, we take the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. What's that number? Okay, I'll tell you it's 15. Okay, so then this is where it gets fun, interpreting how much of the data is where. Okay, in part C, it says what percent have a resting heart less than 66 beats per minute. Well, 66 is our median. So how many people in this data set have a heartbeat less than 66, the median? 50%, because it says what percent. Okay. What percent have a resting heartbeat of no more than 74? Okay. Well, more than 74 would be 25%, right? So we're talking about 75% have no more than 74. Okay. What percent have a resting rate between 50 and 59? Well, 50 is the minimum, 59 is the lower quartile. How much of a percent is that? That's a quarter of the data, hence the quartile, right, Avery?
Yeah.
Okay. What about between 66 and 92? 66 is the median, the middle. Maximum is 92. So we have 50% of our data between the median and the maximum. Okay. Now, what's happening here? Do you notice how this whisker is longer than the other? We have some higher data points that are what we call skewing the data to the right. So notice, like, if you look at these, we have a lot of like 50s and 60s, right? And then we have these three values right here that are making this long whisker. So these numbers are skewing the data to the right. This whisker is really long compared to the other one. So we have big numbers that are making that long whisker. Okay. All right. What I want you to do. Okay. We have some Detroit wins. Hold on. Is that the one I want you to do? Yep. I want you to do the wins for the Detroit Lions. So I want you to create our box and whisker plot. 5-number summary here, people. Oh, okay. Don't worry about drawing the box and whisker plot. Just find me the 5-number summary. How does that sound? We'll draw it together.
So then would you, when you're doing this, would you count the sum?
Nope. Two, 4, 6, 3 sevens. Yeah. 9, 10, 11. Yeah. Okay, so I had a pretty good question that some of you might also have as you're finding the quartiles. So it looks like your median is 7, right? It's right there. Yeah. Okay, so it's out. You are not going to use it when you're finding the quartiles. So your lower quartile is going to be 4. And your upper quartile, oh, I missed a number. Didn't I? Yeah, I did. Uh-oh. Okay. Wait, there's 10 data points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There, it's right there. There we go. I misunderstood your question. You are missing a number. Oh, okay. So then 7 is our median, and then 4 is our lower quartile, and 9 is our upper quartile. Okay, yeah, I said yes. No, that's too bad. So 0, 4, 7, 9, 11 is our 5-number summary. Which whisker is super long compared to the other one? Okay, we are skewed to the left. Okay, because of those terrible seasons that they had. Okay, all right, so now let's interpret. Okay, I want you to go down to this number 5. Okay, here is a box and whisker plot for test scores of 24 students. Okay, well, sometimes we have bad days. Okay, so Seth, what's the median score? 80. He just looked at this right here. 80 is the median score. Okay, what percent of students scored between a 70, here's 70, and an 85? Here's 70, here's 85. That's the entire box. That's lower quartile to upper quartile. That's 50%. Okay, now here's a fun one. How many students scored between a 45 and what? So here's 45 and here's 85. So what percent? 75%. But I want to know how many students.
18.
How do you know that?
Oh, because you divided by 4.
So we can take 75%, so 0.75 times the number of students. So we have 24 students. If we multiply that by 0.75, that's 3/4, we get 18. Now, Kate got us 87. How did she do compared to her class? Pretty well. Oh, she scored higher than 75% of her class, which I would say is pretty good. We're talking about test scores. You want to be in that top whisker, right? Okay. Too exciting. I know. All right, next page. I want to go all the way down to Mr. Athens and Mrs. Gilman gave the same test to their math classes. Okay, so let's talk about this. What is the median for Mr. Athens? Okay, so Mr. Athens had a median of 80 and Mrs. Gilman had a median of 75. So when I ask for the difference in the median score, okay, which I'd say is probably pretty good, okay? If we're comparing two classes, we want their medians to be pretty similar, okay? That's gonna give us a good measure of that our classes are doing okay compared to each other. Okay, which class had the greater range? Okay, so Mr. Athens. Okay, visually, Daddy, how could you tell that?
Because his, what is it called? Box and whisker plot?
Yeah. Okay, so our whiskers are stretched out further, right? It is longer. Those endpoints are longer in Mr. Athens than Mrs. Gilman's. Now, who do you think did better overall? Colin, what's your opinion?
Mrs. Gilman.
Why?
Because she has a lower, range, and since she has a lower range, well, the lowest would be 60. Yeah.
Okay, but Mr. Athens had a higher median, so he had more kids score above an 80 than Mrs. Gilman, and he had somebody with a 100.
Yeah, but,
Gilman had
but he also has some with a 45.
Okay, so you could say, well, Mrs. Gilman, everybody passed, nobody failed. Oh, I just took your words. I'm so sorry. I'm glad we had the same thought. Okay. So there could be a couple different ways that you interpret this. Okay. So let's talk about your homework that you can get started in these last few minutes of class. So we have pages 8 and 9. I will let you cross off 1 from page 8. Page 9 is going to go super fast because it's just telling me like look at the box and whisker plot and answer a question. Okay. But I know that page 8 could take a little bit. So how about you just get rid of 1 problem and do 3 on page 8.
Bottom one at 22.